Caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The Caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the Caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the Caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop.
Coming down the mountain from the heaven to the hell, the Mike Calderese, the Caltrop, he never stops, so ring the bell. He bring the facts, he's been up every morning till we sleep. He get it deep, Mike Calderese, in your head and in your sheets. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop.
Good evening and welcome to the Caltrop. I'm your host, Michael Calderese, and I got to tell you, my eyes are burning. I was dry cutting, but it's crazy because I have this mask. Yeah, I bought this. It's a mask and it's got the the filter and everything on it. Still, my eyes want to burn and burn every time I only dry cut a little bit, then I wet cut just to score the line. But what are you gonna do, man? It's been a long Friday, it's been a long week. But let's have some fun, honestly, today. And tonight. We have Rikipedia that's going to be joining us, okay? And when Rikipedia comes in, we got some conspiracies to talk about. We have some other topics to get into besides, again, you guys know how I like doing it. I don't want to talk about the exact same thing all the time. I want to talk about the data center problem. I want to talk about possibly weaponized ticks. I want to talk about human possibility. Are some of these things outside the realm of human possibility? That's what the Mike's Right's going to be about. But we have all that and more, so I'm not even going to waste any time. Let's get right to it with the Mike's Right. Shut the fuck up and listen. All right, tonight I got to ask one question. Not, is it true? Not, did it happen? The question is it beyond human possibility? Because every time some conspiracy gets brought up, people react, in a very similar way. No. They would never do that. You would take too many people, blah, 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 blah. Never. Never based on what? Their Yelp reviews? I love people. Human beings, to me, are absolutely adorable. We act like governments are Disney princesses. Like somewhere in Washington, there's a room full of angels in khakis going, guys, remember, honesty, integrity first. It's like, really? Is that where we're at, that we trust government? Because every time I hear they never do that, I'd immediately ask to myself again, is it beyond the realm of human possibility? And the answer, almost every single time, is absolutely not. Think of the most disgusting thing you could imagine. Human trafficking, torture, biological weapons, psychological manipulation, human experimentation, pedophile rings with kids. And you know what's crazy? Humans already did all of it. Not aliens, not lizard people, not shadow goblins under Denver airport. Humans did it. And it's usually organized humans. It's usually powerful humans. And it's usually governments. And before everyone starts sweating and screaming, fact check this man, relax. So let's stick to the things that the government already admitted, just for you fact checkers. We had documented the Tuskegee experiments, where men were denied treatment so officials could watch a disease progress like they were in lab rats for 40 years. They didn't even know they had an illness. We had MKUltra, The CIA looked at people and apparently said, you know what's good you know what this country needs? LSD. Yeah, that's a good idea. Imagine going out for drinks and waking up 3 days later wondering why the wallpaper is talking to you and why there's a CIA guy taking notes in the corner. Then we had military biological testing where bacteria got released over populated cities. Can you imagine that meeting? It's like, sir, where should we test this? In the middle of nowhere? No. In the desert? Nope. Okay, how about a large city full of civilians? Bingo, there we go. Promote this man. New York subways got it too. As if riding the subway wasn't already enough punishment. People already dodging rats the size of pit bulls. But now somebody was sprinkling mystery science projects through the ventilation system. And then there's radiation experiments, injecting people, exposing vulnerable populations, thousands of cases, all without consent. And let's not even start with what they did during COVID, because we are going to circle back to everything I said, and everything I said was right. But now understand something. This isn't fringe nonsense. These are documented cases governments later acknowledged and apologized for. And here's my favorite part. People hear this and still say, yeah, but surely now they're different. Oh, yeah, okay, right. Because governments somehow evolved like they're Pokemon characters. You know, corruption used to exist, but then one day somebody hit level 47 and unlocked ethics. It's like, guys, governments are made of people. And people suck. People lie. People cover things up. People justify horrible behavior when they think it's for the greater cause. People convince themselves they're saving society while doing things they condemned if their neighbor did it. If your next door neighbor secretly drugged people for research, you'd call the FBI. If an agency does it, people suddenly become customer service reps for them. Well, you know, let's hear both sides. Both sides. It's like, bro, there was a plutonium injection. What are we talking about? Nah, that didn't happen. But now here's where people lose their minds. The second you ask, could industries put profit before health? Could governments hide things? Could military projects go too far? Suddenly people act like you're insane. No. I didn't say it's true. I said, is it beyond human possibility? Because after everything humans have already admitted to, everything that's been declassified, everything apologized for, everything hidden for decades, you start realizing the scariest thing isn't conspiracy theories. It's human beings. Because human beings are capable of incredible beauty. But we're also the species that invented torture, nuclear weapons, propaganda, and Kevin Hart. And if history teaches us anything, it's not that every conspiracy is real. It's that blind trust in humanity might be the dumbest conspiracy of all. That's the Mike's Right. Hope you listen. What do you say? What do you say? I'm going to do two things right now. I am going to plug in the phone. So let's see how much charge we have on this bad boy. I haven't touched this phone. It's still got 51%. If you want to call in, get involved in this conversation at any point in time, you call in, you interrupt the show. It goes right into the show. If you want to prank call me, it better be good. All right. When you call in, have a name. Make a name up. It's more fun that way. Make a name up. Become a character on the show. Become a recurring character on the show. I want your input. But right now, man, let's get to my man, Rikipedia. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. You make me laugh. I've definitely had conversations with the wallpaper in my time. So, yeah, man, that shit is real.
You know what's funny? A buddy of mine took, I think he took acid. And he's a really good artist, right? This dude's a really good artist. And you know, one of the seven dwarfs, it was like Bashful. You know, the one that was standing there, Bashful. So he had like all these little figurines that were like all different ones. Like, so you remember like the basketball playing Bugs Bunny from Space Jam and shit.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he had one of those figurines with a net, like Bugs with a basketball and a net, and he had all these figurines, and he was tripping face watching him play. Like, so Bugs Bunny was just crossing over and dunking and shit, and he said Bashful looked at him and said, "Draw a portrait of me." And this dude tripping face drew the best portrait on his wall. Like, it's this big painted portrait of Bashful, and it was absolutely incredible. But how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. As good as I can be,
Well, listen, these are your topics, and I love these topics, man. Obviously, if you want to be involved in the show, give us a call and put your comments in there. I'm going to read the comments out. I have all the comments here. Check this out, bro. Check this out. Look at this. Steven says, I can put it up. All facts, our government doesn't give a fuck. They do not give a fuck about you. That's a Facebook comment. I have everything that's kind of running into the show. So get on Facebook, get on YouTube, and come on and have some phone us. So where do you want to start, bro? Do you want to start with data centers? Do you want to start with weaponized ticks? Do you want to start with the pandemic, the new pandemic? My buddy just got a new update on that. It's like COVID all over again. It's hysterical. Where do you want to start?
I guess the two topics that are kind of related, be it with health, being the hantavirus and the ticks. I think that's so. With the hantavirus, I really hope we don't get tricked again, man. I really hope that people don't fall for this shit again, because I mean, some of us were able to sniff out the COVID scamdemic like right from the get-go. But unfortunately, the will of the governments was able to be enacted on the people for years. People in every country had months, if not years, where they were just locked down, shut down. I myself got caught up in another country. I went to Vietnam to teach English, and 3 months later, COVID began, and I was stuck over there. And I'm like trying to tell these teachers from these other countries, like, this is all bullshit. Like, I turned 30, I invited a bunch of people over to my house. No one came. Like, everyone was scared. But I think we have evolved.
Do you think we learned, though, bro? Do you think we learned from COVID? Because it's really fresh in our minds, right? When you think about all the different ways that we have spoken about, that I think they test on humanity. I think you're seeing what happens to everybody. When you talk about cloud seeding, when you just talk about COVID, for example, right? Do you think we have learned from COVID? Because I think people don't even want to talk about it. It got to a point where people were like, la, 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 I don't want to hear anything else about COVID. Do you think now people are willing to look back at what they actually did to us and learn from their behavior? Or do you think they still got that la la attitude?
I think it's generational. I think the oldest generations are gonna just eat whatever the TV's feeding them, and just buy all the propaganda. So older people aren't really going to be they're not going to learn, because the programming runs too deep. But I think I'm a millennial, so I think what's the one above me? Gen X? Yeah, that's you, right? You Gen X, millennials, I think, are going to have not only the awareness, but also they're just going to be fed up with it and just be like, no, I'm not doing this shit again. I'm not standing 6 feet away. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not closing my business. Fuck this. I hope
you're going to see a way, like, I do believe that you're going to have way more militant of a response. Okay. The first time around, it was new for a lot of people. I don't think I've ever experienced something like that in my life. So I think everybody was more scared, and they were able to scare you into doing some things. And then now I think everybody sees what happened. I think now they see how they lock you down. They see how all the things didn't make sense. How you had to walk around I remember my local restaurant bar had arrows to the fucking bathroom, and you could only walk in one fucking direction, and you had to wear your mask until you sat down. Then you were safe. And you had all these the plexiglass fucking everywhere. Apparently, whoever made plexiglass made billions and billions of dollars on this, because there was plexiglass everywhere. People using socks as masks, like it was recommended from the CDC. It was absolute fucking insanity. And then they went out and pushed you into taking, multiple, in some cases, or, still booster after booster after booster, but they were able to scare people into doing it. My problem with humans are, I think I think we forget things way too easy. I think it's way out of our mind. I think many people don't remember how bad and how ridiculous actually COVID is, because they either, Xanaxed it out of their mind, or they smoked it out, or whatever the hell they did. It doesn't exist in their mind anymore. It's kind of like a woman after she's had a kid. When you're a man, you leave horrified at that shit. Like, you were like, I don't even know how this woman pulled this shit off. You know what I'm talking about? But then, like, somehow, no matter how horrible it is, 24 hours later, they're like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I know that's how my wife is, but I hope we don't learn again. We don't learn from this. But what do you know about the hantavirus? Have you done any research on it?
Yeah, so it's not new. Just like, COVID was like a coronavirus. There's like 52 other strains of coronavirus. Hantavirus has been around for a while. There's never been evidence of transmission from human to human. There's never been evidence of transmission airborne. It's really only from like the rat shit to straight to you. There's been doctors that are starting to come out and kind of bring the alarm on this. Like, hey, listen, this is what this is, and it should not be able to be transmitted in the ways that the news is propagating. The only way that it would be is if it was tampered with, is if it has become, an engineered bioweapon. So, but I don't even believe in all these like diseases and viruses as being a threat. I believe in herd immunity. I believe that if you keep your body healthy and natural as much as you can, even though there's poisons in all the shit that we eat and drink, but if you can, detox and put all the vital nutrients inside your body as often as possible, I don't think you have anything to worry about. That's.
I think if you're healthy, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Here's the problem with the hantavirus. There's very minimal when you said none, I have found some documented cases with human to human transmission. But it is like one of those ridiculously rare where not all the variables were kind of worked out of figuring out was it actually human transmission. So that just to clarify, like 100% with that. But when you do talk about how does it make that leap from not being human transmission, human to now being able to do it, it's kind of like what the same coronavirus did. That coronavirus went from the horseshoe bat. Let's relate the two of them, because what they found was, and China did this research back in 2014. You can't probably look it up anymore, but this was well documented, where they were doing coronavirus research on a specific type of coronavirus from the horseshoe bat. And now that apparently was the virus that they were able to gain in its function. So what they did was they used from what I understand, the AIDS delivery system and how it gets into a cell from the ACE2 receptor through that spike protein. That's from the AIDS virus. So what people don't realize, I hope they do understand when now about this, is that the government 100% can do and can make viruses that aren't transmissible human to human. They can add elements to it or take elements away that make it so. That technology exists. So when I always say, okay, is it beyond the realm of human possibility? I think it's known that at this point they did that with the coronavirus. I think it's known that they could do it with hantavirus. And, here's the other part that I want you to talk about a little bit. When the profit interests of billions of dollars merge with fucking with people, because when this comes out, ultimately it's going to have a vaccine that's going to make billions of dollars. So, when we get into our next topic, like ticks or any of this stuff, how difficult is it to poison a population? That way they need you to help the poison, fix the poison or treat the poison that you gave them for the rest of their lives.
Problem, reaction, solution. It's all pre-designed by the elites. They meet up and, plan these things years in advance. There's videos of some billionaires like Bill Gates laughing about how, COVID didn't turn out to be as many casualties as they thought, but the next one will get their attention. That was like Bill Gates' line with his smug little smile. It's not beyond the realm of possibility for humans in powerful places to mess with the rest of us. And the way that I analyze these things to see if there is this preconceived agenda is by the symbology in the news reports. So I always look at the numbers. You know, if you ever see 33 confirmed cases or 33 deaths, whenever they flash in the 33s, you know that something's up, because that's the highest degree that you can reach in Freemasonry. So in these like secret clubs and in these Saturn cults, to get to level 33 is like the elite, the occult. So it's whenever you see in 33s in the news, that's when you know. And also, you got to use etymology, man. You got to break down words. So Hanta comes from a Hebrew word. It's like a Hebrew slang term. If someone's a Hanta or something's if it's a Hanta, it's a scam. It's bullshit. So it's in the language. It's in the numbers and the language to kind of encode the deeper, hidden meanings or agendas behind these kinds of things. So,
bro, and that's why I love having you on, because you look at all those things. I read it as I don't know where to come from. It came from probably like the person who discovered it or some shit like that, But who knows who discovered these things? That's the point of this entire thing. And I think when you do have people that can fuck with people and can make billions of dollars off of fucking with people, I do, like you said earlier, Bill Gates said it didn't kill enough people. I do think they thought COVID was going to fuck more people up. Now, what COVID did do, and this is, very interesting for a lot of different ways, but it killed the people, if you notice, that I think it was designed to kill. Okay. I think it was engineered to kill certain groups of people. And I got something itching my nose right now. And I'll tell you why I say that, because if you remember, and this was happening early on, certain blood types were having a more viral reaction to it than others. I think A blood was having a problem with it and B blood wasn't, or back and forth. It's either or. I can't remember right now. But I remember blood types it was going on with. Certain groups of people don't get it as bad as others, while certain groups of people it was absolutely devastating. It seemed like it attacked the elderly population, as far as like if you were on diabetes, if you had any of the things that cost the medical system a lot of money. That's the people that it killed. I mean, think about the people on diabetes it killed. Think about the people with congestive heart failure. Those are the most expensive people to treat. Do you know how much money COVID saved the socialist governments worldwide by killing off a lot of their sick people?
Oh, dude, I can't imagine, man. I don't know. I never thought about it that way. I do know that there's evidence of certain groups and like you said, certain blood types that were more heavily affected by it. But I think something that I hope people don't forget is the way that COVID kept families apart. So like I was absolutely livid being in, I was on the other side of the world. I'm in Vietnam. I have obviously no stake in, what my family was doing during the holidays, but they were like, for grandma's protection, she's not going to come to Christmas.
All right. Welcome to the Caltrop. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike, it's Justin.
Hey, what it is, Justin?
What's going on?
Fire away, buddy.
What's up, brother?
I've had to pause my screen. I wanted to ask you your opinion to talk about COVID. So COVID became, we'll call it, like media started to pick it up and talk about it, and it became a hot topic, say like March of 2020. But I know of people, I'm sure a lot of other people know people that had the symptoms, the sickness and everything else as early as like the end of December and January of 2019 into 2020. So the interesting question would be to know is when the government or when people like Dr. Fauci knew COVID was out getting people sick and killing people before they actually decided to come out with it and be like, hey, like we got this thing COVID running around.
Those
now.
emails came out, right? So Rand Paul worked to get a lot of those emails out. And China knew something was released, and they had I think October of that year, if I remember correctly. It was either October or November earlier that year. They had a couple of their scientists come down with it, and a couple of them died from it. Yeah. All right. So they knew, and then I believe Fauci knew in early December that something was going on in China. I mean, fuck, dude, I knew early December that something was going on in China with COVID. I was posting about it. You can look back on my page. By January of that year, January I think it was 30th or 31st. I posted that this virus out of China looks to be affected Italy and Spain. It's going after old people with diabetes, and this thing, it doesn't seem like its death rate is very high. Are you going to rush out and get the vaccine for this? So, dude, I think it was confirmed 100%. Like, I think I had it early January before it came out. But I know people that were very, very, very sick with something weird. If you remember that whole season, people were very sick, started dating back to, I'd say, November, and they were getting the flu test, and they were coming up negative for the flu, and their doctors were like, well, it's some virus. You know, it's not the flu, but it's some virus. I heard that from a lot of people. I think it was in America at least November. What do you think, Rick?
I know somebody that between the end of December, early January, was in the hospital 3 times with a sickness that they didn't know what it was at the time. When obviously you look back now, you're like, oh, that was COVID. So, and you bring up the point of how much money these pharmaceutical companies have saved because people with certain illnesses they're no longer treating. Well, not only did they save money on that aspect, but they made a hell of a lot of money off of this vaccine that came out that turned out not to be as great as they made it out to be.
For sure. I mean, just to piggyback on what you guys were saying, I was in Vietnam, which is borders China on the south side. Our holiday break was January, and even before the holiday break, so like in December. Yeah. So in December, a lot of teachers were starting to get sick. A lot of news was coming from China getting brushed under the rug because, China and Vietnam are like communist countries. So it's hyper controlled, all the news media. Yeah. But when we were on break, we were told before break was over, we were told, something's going on in China. We're going to be closed for 2 weeks. And then 10 days later, 2 more weeks, 10 days later, 2 more weeks. And then by then everything was closed. I was already locked down in February, but there was sickness around me in December and January. So and then when you ask when did guys like Fauci know,
for a minute, I don't know if what I had brought up was they saved money treating people with certain illnesses, but they profited like crazy off the vaccine.
They profited like crazy off of all of it. Somebody profited off of all the hospitals that got built all of a sudden. They profited off of the ventilators that were all being used. Remember, if you had somebody that was COVID positive, you got more money than a regular patient. If they went on a ventilator, you got way more money. That's why they were rushing to put people on vents early on. And it was we know now that was the absolute wrong thing to do. I mean, we responded.
Yeah, that killed a lot of people, right? The ventilation.
A lot of people. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, when you look at the overall response of what happened, and then think about this, how much money was made on masks, how much money was made on PPE, how much money was made throughout all of the treatments from Remdesivir, and which again was killing people in the trials and then killed people in the hospitals. So one of you guys said earlier on that it separated families. It did separate families, and some it separated fucking permanently. You know how many people got this vaccine and then immediately had some type of weird cancer immediately afterwards? How many still died from the virus after they were vaccinated? How many people weren't vaccinated and died from the virus? When you look at all of these people, a lot of the old people, it didn't just separate families. It destroyed certain families, and it destroyed certain families for good. I mean, there's someone that lives down my street. I still miss him. And I remember having the conversations about COVID with him, and then to hear that he died from it, but he died. The thing that pisses me off about the way he died is he died the same way that I was hearing that people that got Remdesivir, Remdesivir. People that got that in the hospitals, I was hearing doctors say, this is what happened. They went through this, and this. And it was like, kidney failure and then multiple system failure, and then it shut down a number of things. This is what was going on in the trials, and he died the exact same way that I heard that it happened. And it, that type of shit got me mad. And this is the stuff that we can never forget.
Yeah, and I don't think we know the full effect that the long term impacts the vaccine will cause people potentially, because a lot of vaccines take, if you're lucky, a 5-year study before you could even go to the FDA and all that for approval to use it. So we're only just over 5 years into it, but some vaccines take even longer than that to get the approval, showing studies and everything else.
Well, that was
there's even more sinister stuff
We
with
also gotta remember
the
that
implications of the
make
COVID.
a lot of money, but who do they donate money to?
Oh yeah, what are you saying, Rick?
So the COVID vaccine is different than regular vaccines because it's an mRNA.
A lot of money on this vaccine.
mRNA.
We got to remember who they funnel. Yeah.
Justin, I asked Rick. Sorry, you guys are talking over each other.
So mRNA is like it's like a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different kind of vaccine. mRNA affects your DNA, and it can literally change your genome. Not to mention the graphene oxide and the other heavy metals that are reintroduced into your body. So you want to talk about like long-term effects. I'm worried that people are going to have degenerative genetic issues over time. I'm also worried that they have a heavier or a larger buildup of heavy metals, which, I mean, the conspiracy circles, these guys think that you can turn on like the cell phone towers and weaponize it and like basically like cook people from the inside because of all the metals that are inside of them. I hope none of these things happen. But these are two potential long-term effects that we might see.
You remember people putting magnets up to their shot and the magnet was like sticking on it?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's real, whatever it was, but I mean, those were crazy times that we lived through, and I don't think we should ever forget it. I want to say one quick thing, and I'm going to give you the final word on this, Justin, then we're going to move on topics-wise. This virus, if you get it, it's bad. The chances of you getting it, even now, okay, I don't think this is going to rise to a problem, but they're definitely trying to push it into being a problem. And what we do know about like very, very bad viruses, typically they will kill a bunch of people early on and then it flames out, because that's the way these viruses have always worked. Now, if this one stays, then it was fucked with. And again, is it beyond the realm of human possibility? I don't know. Justin, final words on it.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, we don't know the long-term effects of not only COVID, but the vaccine. So we got to look at how it's going to affect people that were around then, but how is it going to affect people that had it or had the vaccine that are now going to give birth to a child in the future, and what kind of side effects is that kid going to suffer? Because remember, like the whole autism thing was blamed on different stuff. So is this going to be some kind of birth defect that people will start seeing, and when they turn 5, 6 years old, some kids, we won't know any of that for a while.
Well, what you're already seeing is a lot of sterility. So when you look at birth rates, when you look at reproduction rates, when you look at fertility rates right now, our fertility rates dropping like a fucking rock. And that was another thing that what people said, that this mRNA wasn't supposed to travel throughout your entire body. It does. It wasn't supposed to stay in there very long. It does. It wasn't supposed to be able to change DNA in your body, and somehow that does, because it's a message. It's a DNA message is really what it is. And the bottom line is, you can't give the same message to every single person, and every single thinking every single person's body is gonna read that message the exact same way. That it's that one dose for everybody type idea. Certain people's body are going to read that message and start doing some wacky shit with it. And I think it's a lot of people. I think it happened to a lot of people, and that's really sad. Thanks, Justin. Dude, I appreciate you calling in, man.
No problem, Mike. Have a good rest of the show, and tell Rikipedia I want to see him talk some Vietnamese.
Xin chào.
Oh my God. All right, Justin. It's funny, Rikipedia. Trump went to China, and Trump was speaking. First Xi gets out, and Xi was basically like, "Look, man, you're a power, we're a power, we're a rising power. Can we do this without going to war with each other? I don't know. So he was saying some shit, but Xi, the Chinese language is funnier than the Japanese. The Japanese, it's all like, and deep, and they're like hen dang ching tang huang pon tang yang, and then Trump gets up here and he says his thing, and then they had the fairy dude. They had the the dude with the girliest voice and the most like the most tongs in his voice doing his voiceover, and I just kept thinking, like, it's funny when when back in the day when we would see a Chinese person, you go ding dang ding wang dang ding, like just
No.
right.
Yeah,
that's all I could think about every time they did something like that.
It's a whole other world over there. It really is. It's I can't figure out if they're the aliens or if we are, but I don't know. It's pretty crazy about how different the cultures and languages are.
It is, dude. So what was the other health topic with RFK? I think
ticks. The ticks.
Ticks, yes, dude. All right, let's do some ticks. All right, guys.
Because tick season's like now or soon. I think it's soon.
No, bro, I was already out in the woods. I thought it was going to be way too cold for ticks, and I really thought where I was riding my mini bike, I thought it was so cold because remember it was like 10 degrees, and one of the arguments you always hear for, this is the reason why our tick population is increasing because of this. It was 10 degrees for 2.5 months. It was below zero at some points. It was below 20 for the entire winter this year. And I was out riding and I had a tick crawling up me, and I think it bit me and then bit me. The ticks like to bite me on my ass and then try to travel to different spots of my body. Yeah. So I felt it like crawling on my arms. I was driving to work and I pulled it off. And I don't know if it was one of the Lone Stars. It was red. It didn't have that thing on its back, I don't think, but I threw it out the window. But yeah, man. So they're already out in force.
Yeah. So I got Lyme disease years ago when I was in high school. I was playing football in the leaves. My idiot self, I saw him. I took a shower. I saw him on my shoulder, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring this into school tomorrow and show my friends." I had no idea. Like that was as ignorance is bliss. But yeah, it's always been a thing. Like ticks spreading diseases. That's nothing new. Even the Lone Star ticks, that they've been around for, or it's been affecting people for a number of years. But for whatever reason, man, like, I don't know if it's been tampered with. I know that we've made, when I say we, I mean like Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They made these mosquitoes. And they released them into different states, Massachusetts, Colorado, somewhere in the South.
Yeah, genetically modified fucking mosquitoes.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm scared because I don't have any pets, but I have a 4-year-old, and so I'm not really worried about myself so much. Of course, I'll like check and everything, but I'm just worried. I'm worried about her. I'm more worried about ticks affecting the general health, and especially like my affecting my life more than the hantavirus.
Well, listen, what better weapon if you really wanted to poison a population? It's pretty. That's a very, very, very effective way to poison a population and a large amount of people, or a large amount of think about it. If you infect deer and people eat deer meat, you might be infecting them through the deer meat and the whole 9 yards. But let's get to that in 1 second. I forgot. I wanted to read some comments and pop these off. Ready? Hold on. Let's go back. We're going to go back into this. And here you go. You ready? Trevor Doyle says, people somehow compartmentalize or rationalize this criminal behavior. They would 100% do that, bro. Eric McDonald. I love Eric. Eric is one of my best friends. Says, trust in the Lord. He is our strength. He is our shield. He is, listen, I'm not a religious guy, but if that helps you guys, I fucking love it, right? Teresa says, hantavirus is listed as adverse effect on Pfizer COVID papers. I gotta tell you something. When Teresa chimes in, she's on it. She's what my cousin Vinny liked to call dead on balls accurate. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and believe her.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else do we have? Yep, here you go. You ready? Trevor says, yep, I got sick in the beginning of January 2020 after getting 3/4 vaccine shots. December 29th, 2019. Interesting. That's crazy. Gus Acevedo in the chat. Gus Acevedo is my old Spanish teacher talking about Spanish. The Spanish flu came from the United States and Kansas. This is a true story about Gus. Gus spent an entire day one day talking about que lástima, and it means what a shame. And it's the only thing in Spanish I actually remember, because Gus would say, what if my calories wind up slipping while he was walking on top of the Empire State Building and he came down and went splat? What do you say? Que lástima, what a shame. And he did that almost the entire class period. So I will never, it wasn't just to me, it was really to everybody. I think everyone he didn't like in class. And Gus was my fucking freshman baseball coach, you know? So what are you going to do? Teresa, here's another one. Before presenting globally, there was a tabletop exercise called Event 201 that pregamed the entire COVID response with all the people who would go on to lead the global pandemic response. Yes, 100%. And they did it 2 months before. Yeah, they were planning this. I really do believe that it was ready to rock and roll in 2016. If you actually listen, Teresa, to when Fauci has messed up multiple times calling it COVID-16 in the in court hearings. He calls it COVID-16 a lot. I think it was supposed to come out earlier, and they brought it out later for 2019, because when you do look at a lot of the money and a lot of the things when they found that one coronavirus, it was 2014. You know, how long does it take to get one of these things up and running? I think they could have had it running, do it in a couple of years. Remember, we've been fucking with coronaviruses for a really, really, really long time. Right? The origin. Here we go. Trevor says the origin of AIDS. Joseph. Oh, so he's posting a link. I love it. Chief Queef. I love it, bro. Chief Queef. Where is he? Where'd you go, Chief Queef? Where the fuck did you go? What's up? Good stream tonight. Good Chief Queef. I'm not looking for good, man. I'm looking for great. I'm looking for fucking righteous and kick ass, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If we're not righteous and kick ass, we are nothing at all. And then let's see. Jerry C says one has to wonder to win another virus in an election year. Yeah, man. It's an election year. You know, would they do it during a midterm where I think they're going to win anyway? I don't know. It's just very interesting. But let's get back to ticks, because now that we, upgrade your comments after you finger blast my like button. So here's the bottom line. So you said something earlier, Rikipedia, that you didn't know, for certain or something like that. That have they ever fucked with a tick? Well, they have. All right. The U.S. military explored. How do you say this word here, Rick? Entomological warfare. Yeah, man. Insects like fleas, mosquitoes, and ticks as vectors to deliver pathogens. This includes programs at places like Fort Detrick, declassified documentaries via the Black Vault. And I gotta remove. I'm gonna move the call in, which involved ticks. All right. So people are you see this? People are lighting off fireworks out there. And ticks were studied as potential host delivery mechanisms for bacteria. All right. That was causing disease like Rocky Mountain spotted fever and Turulema, right? Willy Bergdorfer was the scientist identified in 1982, and he was basically known as the tick man. He had a background in tick research and some involvement in bioweapons, related work in his earlier career. The interesting part about him, there's a couple guys that did this, like they died, but later in their lives, they were trying to say that this stuff happened, but pathogens leaked out by accident and the whole 9 yards. But the bottom line is they can 100% fuck with ticks, right? And then it goes on. You have Plum Island. Have you ever heard of Plum Island?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you had Plum Island, right? And that had ties to Army biowarfare research in the 1950s before shifting to a USDA. It was researching foot and mouth disease, but it was centering all of these Lyme clusters. So what they did was they were tracking. They had women, believe it or not. It was like one woman that came down with sickness and another woman, and they were researching this shit on their own. They put together these graphs and all this stuff, and it just seems like when you look at Lyme's disease, it seemed to start in one fucking area and branch out. Now, what they say is, and I want you to respond to all this in a second, Rick. What they say is, Lyme's disease has been around forever. It's been around forever, and it has. I mean, they have found it in old-ass ticks that were preserved. They found that version in old-ass ticks, but what nobody has really brought up is the fact that it doesn't matter if it's been around forever. It matters of how were they able to fuck with it and make it more viral, right? So if you can manufacture ticks, if you can grow them, if you can infect them, like in studies where they took them, they've done this. They had them, they made ticks radioactive, and they released them in the populations, and then that way they were able to track where they were going. We did this in foreign countries. We did this in Cuba. We did this in a number of different places where we have weaponized ticks where we sent them out. So it's not about it being around. It's about it being weaponized, right? Coronavirus has been around forever. When the fuck did we weaponize it is the question. And that's the thing that nobody's answering. Go ahead, fire away.
Yeah, I think that it's when you look at something and you think you say, okay, it has it been weaponized? Is this being used against people? You got to think of a motive. Why? What's the means to the end? What's the end game here? So, I mean, depopulation, perhaps. Dependence on a new drug, you know, so pharmaceutical companies can make more money, possibly. They're also trying to push, you know, this environmental sustainability by wanting people to eat less meat, and now they're making like this lab created meat. So, you know, more Lone Star ticks. One of the most common adverse effects is you're allergic to red meat. So now you're vegetarian. You got to eat the Beyond Meat. You know, it's like
it's not like they haven't said that, Rikipedia, right? When you look at what the global elites have said, this is what makes my fucking like conspiracy shit boil. When they say you will be eating plants, you will own nothing,
you'll be eating bugs too,
and you will be happy, right? And it's like, hold the fuck on. Everything they want out of us is not to be eating animals. It's not to be eating meat, especially, you know, it's not chicken and fish that anybody has a problem with, right? You know, you have to get the hardest core PETA person to give a fuck about a fish. It's the cows. For whatever reason, they want you not eating cows. They want you not eating pork. You know, and that just happens to be the thing that this alpha gal syndrome comes from. Now, again, alpha gal has always been there, but I don't remember anybody getting bit by a tick and having a fucking meat allergy ever in my life until recently. You know, now all of a sudden it's this big thing. And again, I don't think, you know, guys, if you go out in the woods, I think you can protect yourself from this. I don't think, you know, any of this fear porn I'm not going to engage in, so you know. But what do you think of that, bro?
Absolutely, dude. It's just it's a matter of awareness. The only reason why I say I'm scared is because I'm not scared for myself. I'm scared for my child because she's 4. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She doesn't understand ticks. But people, adults, all you have to do is just take luck favors the prepared, man. All you got to do is just take a couple of extra steps. Maybe, you know, duct tape your ankles up, you know, upside down duct tape. So if anything tries to crawl up in your pants, they get stuck on the tape. You know, there's certain sprays and essential oils that ticks hate essential oils, just like any arachnid. They bugs hate essential oils. You just got to oil yourself up, man. I like to do little essential oil, a little coconut oil on top, spread it in so the mosquitoes can't land.
Would you learn that from The Rock, bro? You fucking oiling yourself up like
that coconut, not baby oil though, not Diddy oil.
Dude, I love what you just said though. It reminded me of one of my favorite sayings always, and it's chance favors the prepared mind. You know, and I think that's
what I was going for.
Yeah, chance favors the prepared mind. It's absolutely tremendous. But dude, you know, I got to tell you, when you look at all this stuff, you know, there's a Lyme vaccine now that's coming out that has failed everywhere it's ever been, but you watch, it's going to be pushed out, right? When I see money interest colliding versus all these things that are happening, when I see global elites' vision of the world coinciding with weird little insects that can infect an entire population, we're talking about millions of people. It has the potential to you know, mess with. And you got to remember something. They could just fall off a bird and land in your backyard, you know, because they travel on birds. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everyone forgets, if you really wanted to mess with a population that is already skeptical of the bullshit that they just pulled. I mean, if you really do think about it, right? Everyone's going to be now leery if a hantavirus vaccine automatically, if they try pulling the same shit, they're not going to get anywhere near the response. Okay, not anywhere near the response. And that can be scary because that if it's really bad, then people are going to say, go fuck yourself, and more people are actually going to die. But let's just say they understand that, you know, there's not going to be that kind of response. Well, how do you do it? Well, you know, you mysteriously drop boxes full of ticks in certain areas and let them go. Right? How many people is it possibly going to be able to infect? How many people is it possibly going to be able to get to if you wanted let's say, infect the ticks with some type of vaccine or some type of something. You're telling me they can't make a tick-injected vaccine to you? They're basically little needles, right? So I don't know, man. I again, beyond the realm of human possibility, can we have, if we could develop plants to have the mRNA vaccine data inside their cells, which is possible.
Yeah. Lettuce. They want to make lettuce with vaccinated produce.
With vaccinated produce.
Yeah, man. It's already being tested. It's not fail proof, but it's already, they're working on it.
But this is my point, right? So there's nothing I'm saying that's bullshit. What I'm saying is, if we already have that type of shit, I don't think we even comprehend what we actually have, what they're actually even doing to us. And it's just, you got to wonder why, you got to wonder why there's not more outrage over testing on American population as much as we test.
Yeah. Something that we can directly see that's affecting us, that I don't think people realize the scope of how it's going to affect us, are these giant data centers that are being built in pretty much every state. It's like the locals in the surrounding community, their water quality has been turned to shit. They're going to their town meetings, pissed off. No one's listening to them. No one cares. You see time and again, people, stating their case about how they don't want it to be built. And then when the board votes on it, it's like 20-0 in favor of building it. And it's just going on. And it hurts for people for their voice to not be, to be heard or respected. And the only way that we could stop these data centers from being built is to go 1776 on their asses and just pitchforks and torches and just burn them down.
It's we're gonna let's get to that. Let's get to that. We'll get to that in just 1 second. But first, let's read some of the comments from the last segment, because I was right with you. I was moving on with that as well. Mindy, love it. Mindy says, was in the documentary when Trump is president, there will be a pandemic. Who else has seen that? We cannot find it. It was like it was scrubbed. Myself and a bunch of friends have seen it. 100%. Fauci actually said that, didn't he? Fauci was saying, yes, oh God and baby Jesus. So when Donald Trump is president, he will face a very strong, hard problem that involves a virus that's going to be a respiratory virus. And he's going to be able to deal with it. And we're going to be able to take over from that. Every time I do that, he gets like kind of gayer and gayer sounding. Honestly, Chief Queef says, awesome, strive for excellence. We do strive for excellence. Ooh, this one's about you. Chief Queef also says, Rick is awesome on the live as well. I would just change his flat earth theory that I heard from a couple of weeks ago. Fuck no, dude. That's why we have him here. He's here for these fucking crazy weirdo theories. Right?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
This is what makes the show fun. The best name on the planet. Thomas Dickroll says PETA stands for people eating tasty animals. Now ticks are gonna fuck that up too. Yeah, dude, these PETA bastards, they're all behind there. They're behind it, man. That's the conspiracy. It's PETA are stealing these ticks. They're making the ticks fuck. You know what they're really doing, dude? They got the deer tick to somehow fuck with the dog tick. That made the fucking the Lone Star tick, and they all carry their own damn disease. Why can't we just take your ass dog tick? You get one of them on you, you're not even afraid of it anymore. All right. Trevor Doyle says, wow, this is a long one. Ready? Trevor, try not to text in paragraphs. All right, but let's do it. We're going to do it. It changed its genetics so much that they supposedly can't keep up with the making effective vaccines. At least that's what Architectural Center probably says. Tick Lab could bring them now. With how fast the process of making new vaccines with RNA, they could probably make designer vaccines now, not for us cattle. Yeah, they can. One of the problems with the mRNA vaccines is that once the patent's there for an RNA vaccine, they could roll out new ones very, 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 very fast. It's absolutely ridiculous.
With little to no testing too.
Yeah, with little to no testing. I mean, guys, you got the COVID vaccine before it was fully tested. It's still not fully tested, if you ask me. But fucking says, hey, Teresa says, hey, I've been reading Skin So Soft repels mosquitoes, ticks, and mites. Many rescues use it. Yeah, you know what? Skin So Soft, I've been hearing for years. Absolutely 100% does that. Kevin Duffy says Saul Rosenberg voice. Yes. So Saul Rosenberg. So you have Saul Rosenberg. He ends his letters, hard. Dr. Fauci, he doesn't. He does the letters and he rolls them. He's got a little more Boston kind of in his accent, but 100% both Saul Rosenberg, and I just can't see. God damn it, I love it. Trevor says, these assholes they be putting in our water for the cooling pipes in the data centers is indigenous that they did not clean it out before releasing it back to the surrounding environments. Goes back open. Yeah, so listen, let's get into data centers, right? So I have some stuff on the data centers here. All right. Data center, and then I'm going to keep you. We got to do this kind of quickly, right? Or we can, unless I could keep you a little bit over, but I don't want to. I know you got a hot date tonight, right?
Hell yeah, boy.
It's
all good though.
Boy, let's fucking go. So data centers, they're obviously physical infrastructure, right? Now, one of the problems let's go through a couple positives really quick here. Here's some positives: economic benefits and jobs. They bring massive capital improvement to your area. That's what they say. Now it's all initial capital improvement. The jobs that they bring are going to be short-term construction jobs. When they're up and running, you need a handful of people to run these, if that. And there's really no long-term benefits. They're going to be paying the property tax. That's not a gain because the property tax is going to be paid by somebody. It was probably paid by a number of homeowners or a number of farms to begin with. And the amount of revenue that they're going to bring in, it may be a lot, but it could be only given to the state. And you know how it is. If you put one of these data centers in an area and the state is getting the money, is that area actually going to get doled out the proper amount of money for their town? Chances are it's not going to happen, especially if they vote the fucking wrong way for the state. They enable AI enhancements, cloud services, data storage, and digital information. Here's another positive.
That's a positive?
I'm giving you the positive. Listen, this is what I did here, buddy.
To me, that's a negative. More AI, more data, more surveillance on us. To me, that's a negative.
I went through a number of AIs and asked them what are the positives, what are the negatives, what are the arguments for and against. This is what they're giving me.
Okay. It
says commit to 100% renewable energy matching with purchases of wind, solar innovations like liquid immersion cooling, free air cooling, reheat, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Last positive. Supporters know data centers can anchor tech ecosystems, provide stable tax bases, and that overall U.S. electricity demand growth benefits from this scale. I don't see how, when you have a data center that uses more electric than entire states
and water and
depleting aquifers and all this stuff, I don't see how it is. Here's the negatives. Some environmental groups and economists, they said it's the concentrated the costs, the jobs are not going to be there in the long term. It's a strain on the infrastructure. It has done nothing but lead to higher energy prices and the land use. They are gigantic footprints. One that I read was 40,000 acres.
Dude, there's one of them that they're planning on building one in the Midwest that's like 50 miles long, man.
55 miles.
That's not even. That doesn't even seem real.
And then you have the energy, right? So U.S. data centers use 4 to 5% of the electricity grid. It's going to rise to 8% by 2030. AI facilities are incredibly power hungry. Hyperscale can match 100,000 plus households. Okay, plus what's going to power this? The only thing that's going to power this is more fossil fuels. You're not going to, people say, all these data centers say, oh, they're going to do solar, they're going to do all this. That's not going to be able to power their facility 100% that it needs. You are going to need so much energy that it's going to make your fucking head spin. And it doesn't matter how you get the energy, right? All it is you're heating up water. That's all fucking energy is. You heat up water to spin turbines. How the fuck do you heat that water up? Do you heat it up with gas? Do you heat it up with wood? Do you heat it up with nuclear? Do you heat it up with, with fucking magic fairy dust? That's what electricity isn't just, there in the grid. It's created.
Yeah, unfortunately, I see way more negative implications, like for on our direct physical well-being, but also the social scale of things, where, we're already there's already giant NSA centers that have, all of us tracked digitally. Like Palantir is one of the main companies that does that. If you want to take that call.
I was waiting for you to finish your sentence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Caltrop. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, this is Mr. Charlie Chan. I calling from South Jersey. I would like to say Happy Asian Heritage Month. Would you like to hear a joke?
Yeah, I would love to hear a joke.
Okay. How come two Asians can't make a white?
I don't know.
Because two Wongs can't make a white?
Oh my God, I
shit.
fucking love it.
Absolutely. Where are you from?
Oh, he's already off. I love getting prank phone calls. That's fucking awesome. That is absolutely fantastic. I love it, bro.
Two
But
wrongs
yeah,
don't make a right, but two rights make an airplane.
So here, then you have emissions problems. I was putting that up, right? Then you have sound ordinance and regulatory policy mitigation, right? I mean, when you look at all of this stuff,
apparently they're loud as hell. I've never been around one. I don't know, but apparently it's really loud.
From what I'm understanding, people that live close to them hear like a humming all day long, and they say it's under the decibel level, but it's still a fucking humming at night. That would drive people batshit crazy, man. I don't understand why. I don't understand how this helps us as people. This is what I'm struggling to understand. It seems like it's a lot of they ask a lot of us and they give us nothing in return. And are they promising everybody that these data centers are going to make so much money that they're going to fund everything for us, our schools, our healthcare? You don't even have to work anymore. This data center, everyone's just going to give you money. I find it hard to believe that these places are going to make so much money that they're just going to give it away to the rest of everybody. I don't see that happening.
It's not for us to use in a beneficial way. It's for our enslavement. It is for our just constant tracking. It's like the world is becoming digital, and there are definitely conveniences and benefits to the technology. However, the scope is it's becoming way too invasive, way too prevalent. I'm wary of biblical things like the mark of the beast system that's been told to rise. And to me, it seems like the beast system is going to be a digital prison system. And it's very right now, if you don't have any money, you're going to starve. You can't buy food unless you know how to grow it. But in the future, it's going to be, if everything becomes digital, then it's going to be, if you're not on the grid, if you're not compliant with whatever the rules are, for this digital dystopia, then you're going to starve. So that's what I'm keeping track of. I just don't, it just seems bad news, man. Bad news to me.
Earn a fucking trade. That's all I got to tell you. Last couple of comments on this. Teresa says, where data centers are already up and running, water into homes already tainted, and cluster illness increasingly reported. Yeah, you're also hearing things like no water pressure and
the pressure. Yep, not only the quality, but they can't take a shower or wash your hands.
Shower. It's just they're using so much water. It's absolutely ridiculous. Said, yeah, if I had to live next one, I'd be furious. Trevor Doyle, Chief Queef. Let's see what Chief says. Yeah, you can't have a wood fire, coal fire, pizza oven in New York without a device that regulates CO2 emissions, but you could have an AI data center. Dude, I love that comment, Chief Queef, because that perfectly exemplifies the double standards that we have to live in. And I think that's what creates hate and creates people being pissed off, is that, when you have that where we can't do certain things, but you can let those people do that much. And it's like, oh, well, they're too big for, to make them have to honor any rules that you little peasant piece of shits have to live under. It really pisses me off. And he goes on to say, you can't have a plastic grocery bag, so they scam you into buying a reusable one, but the entire store was wrapped in plastic products. What was really amusing, honestly, I messed up here. Going to the beach and finding reusable bags now floating down the beach that I had to run and save from going into the ocean. Don't you fucking love it? And Joe Valeri says 30 diesel generators are not loud. No, they're not. They're not loud at all. How dare you even suggest 30 diesel generators are fucking loud? All right, do you want to do one last thing with me, Rick, or do you got to run? You got 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
All right, ready? Here, check this out. So, last words on that.
Well, I just want the people to be aware. We need people to be aware, and then we need people to, it's good to go to council meetings, but it's better to burn the fucking thing down. Like, I don't know, man. This society's got to reach a breaking point at some point. We allowed, we failed the litmus test with the Epstein thing. We didn't get pissed off about that. I just don't know what it's going to take for people to get pissed off together and come together and change something. We'll see.
Dude, we will see. I got to tell you, we will fucking certainly see. All right, so this is what I've been waiting on all week. So I did a post where I posted myself with one of my two new hats that I bought while I was in South Carolina. And the story behind that is I love fedoras. I love wearing a fedora. I love people looking at me and saying that hat is fucking horrific. Like, there's something about doing things that nobody else does. It just intrigues me. So wearing a fedora, I love it. So I asked everybody, how do you like my hat? And I got to tell you, it was about 80% of you did not like it. Maybe I would say maybe 70%. If I was trying to skew it, I'd say 70 or 68%. But most of you guys didn't like it. But what I told you I would do is I would read the best comments that you guys have. So I picked out about 12 to 14 comments. Rick, if you could see it on the screen, do you want to wear some with me? And here we go. Ready?
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
One of my hats. So if you're going to tell me that this hat isn't pimping, I'm going to tell you something. I think I could do an entire show with this hat on there. But
I wish you put it on in the beginning. Yeah, man. Not everybody can rock that hat.
Not everybody can rock it, right? So which one do you like better, Rick? Do you like this one better? Before I read the comments. Or let's see, I gotta get the brim right, because I can't be on TV with it. Ooh. Or do you like this one better?
Ooh, I think they're both great. I'm leaning towards the blue.
It's been pimping, bro. If you ask me, I think I look sexy as a motherfucker in them.
That's badass.
What you think I like? If you want the best insults, I will put. You like the blue?
I like the blue.
I see. I'm with you, dude. I love this. I love this hat. I want to be honest with you.
That's so badass, dude.
Right? So badass. Let's see. Did I put it on straight? It feels
people don't like it.
You ready? You ready? Here we go, Rick. And I'm going to need some help. So we'll go every other here. I'll start with this one. This is the first insult. It says, am I wrong, or do you look a lot like Pinocchio? I don't know if I look like fucking Pinocchio. Insult number 2. Says, looks like the old school gangster. Now, this wasn't an insult. This is John Sims. John Sims has made all the songs for the Caltrop. He has made the intros. He's made all my bumpers. That dude is just absolute fucking stud. You ready? Insults 3 and 4. Are you in witness protection? And Edward says, I mean, it's likable, but you look like you're going to try and sell me some dictionaries. Do I look like a fucking dictionary salesman? You want to read this one? You read this one, Rick. Go ahead.
You're one gold chain away from selling loose cigars out of a Chrysler 300.
Well done. That is Brian Gerard. Well done, Brian Gerard. I'll get this one right. Nicole says, make sure it doesn't get glued to your head. Do I look like Danny DeVito? Is the question.
Oh, brother, you got way more swag. Way more swag.
My hat is dude. His hat is like this. His hat's kind of like that. I like it because I can wear it all old timey too, right? So if I want to wear it all old timey, I do it like this. Or this is a flip up, right? So you could do one of these. I don't know if I could pull it off like this though. Is the deal?
The brim down is a statement. Brim up is you're opening yourself up to criticism.
Yeah, we're definitely opening ourselves up to
the second one. The other one, the dark patterned one would look great in a pinstripe suit. You really would, with a cigar. You really would look like a mob boss.
Dude, pimping since been pimping. Nick, I can't say your last name. Giarafa says that this may be my favorite. I want you to read this, Rick. I want you to read this. Get your voice pissed. Ready?
Okay. That shit is terrible. But if you like it, you should wear it. If she doesn't like it on you, then you should never take it off. Yes. Yes. Keep that bug right. Put that bug up her ass, man.
Well fucking done. Where was hold on. All right. So that was insult number 6. Where is insult? I don't know where insult 7, 8, and 9 are. Did I not put them in? Did I not put? All right, ready? So maybe I lost count. Maybe I lost track. Ready? Here's insult number 12. It says, Mikey, that hat isn't a fashion choice. It's a cry for help. You look like you're one margarita away from telling waitresses you used to be in a band back in 1990.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Well done. Well done. Insults 9, 10, and 11. Ready? Jennifer says that hat won't hide you and stop you from being the most wanted posters on every telephone pole in Lakewood.
Yes, sir.
John Christopher says, did it come with a free bowl of soup? It looks good on you. John, honestly, here's the thing, right? So all the hats were like $35. This hat was like $75. These 2 hats were like $160 combined. It's crazy. And Greg Thompson says, you look like you attempted to steal your daughter's hat to look cool. Oh, and you know what? I still have
Didn't work.
I still have Joe's comment. All right, Curry comment. I still have his still up right now. All right. And what is it?
The cigars out of a Chrysler 300 got me, bro. That's too much. That's crazy.
Oh, you gotta fucking love it. Well done, everybody. Two more. Who's this? Donnie says it's giving middle-aged dad trying to pull off mysterious beach strangler, but landed squarely in. I bought this at TJ Maxx store to clear it. The band was doing Olympic level gymnastics just to hold on for dear life. Dude, I love that. And then finally, we have insult number 14 from Barnes Kelly. That's fucked up. Come on, man.
Your head's not that big. That's not.
Did me dirty like that. You fucking put it like, come on. You know this hat is pimping since been pimping. Let's see, does anybody give a shit? There you go, Jerry J Cow. Jerry C X8W says, nice hat. Joe Valeri says, if my Mason showed up in a hat like that, I'd give him double. Look at that. Damn right, Joe. You fucking damn right, Joe. Nick
You know what's the best thing about you though, Mike? You don't give a shit, man. The lions are not concerned with the opinions of sheep. I am a Caltrop because I too care very little about other people's opinions of me, and I strongly express my own. So
I love it, and I love that you're here doing this with me, man. My man Nick Salonitro's in the chat right now. Everybody, check it out. The Nick and Colton show. I've seen the guest list that these guys have coming on, bro. Big players in politics, big players all the way around. The Nick Colton show. Check them the fuck out. You know Nick Salonitro, Mr. Fit Nick. He's been on the show plenty of times. But, bro, yeah, and you know what, though, man? I got to tell you something. Nice hat. See, I want to leave that up there. Rick, dude, you're right, bro. I know exactly who I am, and I don't give a shit what other people think. If I think it looks good, I wear it. And I think I look good. I'm just gonna toss that out there.
I do not look good in fedoras, so I'm not gonna. I would not try. You know what I mean? I have tried. It doesn't work. My head is small and misshapen, but it's okay. You know, I accept myself for all my flaws.
Dude, fedoras I could pull off. You know, it seems like we were sunglass shopping when we were out, and I could not find a pair of sunglasses that fit my weird shaped face in any way. But for whatever reason, a fedora definitely does that. But Rikipedia, man, I fucking love you, bro. That was a great conversation with you, homie. You're obviously welcome anytime. I know I kept you 15 extra minutes. Your girl is probably thinking like, what the fuck? But I bet she's still getting ready. I bet she is still getting ready. She's putting on lipstick. You're going to be done with the show. You're going to be ready to go, and you're still going to be waiting. I would put money on that. Am I wrong?
I think you're right. Unfortunately, but we'll be all right, though. You know,
dude. Listen, you're young, bro. The night doesn't start till like 10:30 anyway. You know, so
yeah.
Dude. Any last thoughts? Or what? I know. Any last thoughts? Period. What do you think?
Well, my last thoughts on all this stuff is that we have to view these news stories with discernment. People have to try to read between the lines, and we are in a fear, trauma-based mind control system, whether people want to admit it or not, and the propaganda only works if you believe it. So just question everything. Think for yourself and question everything. And usually when you follow the money, you start to connect the dots.
Think for yourself, question everything. That is exactly what Caltrops fucking do, man. I got to tell you something. Thinking for yourself and question everything is how I came to wear this hat at my son's graduation. And he is actually in the room right next to us. He is home. He is home safe. He is done. I think he's done with South Carolina. But Mama,
congratulations.
Sorry I'm late. But yeah, dude, it's awesome. So Rikipedia, I really appreciate you, bro. Everyone out there, really appreciate you. Love you guys. Last comment of the night, and let's see what it's gonna be. Last comment, I gotta scroll down to it. And it says, we're coming to New Jersey with the show. They are coming to New Jersey. We're helping them put that together. It's actually gonna be in the studio that you're seeing right now. Nick Salanitro is gonna be coming. I believe it's gonna be what is that, early June, Nick? I think it's going to be early June that he's going to be coming on. Dude, we had a conversation about it, but you know how my brain works. My brain only remembers miscellaneous political knowledge and weird conspiracy theory data. That's about all I get, right? If you give me dates, times, and names, I'm not remembering shit. It's not happening. Don't give a shit. You know what's really cool though, man? A guy on my I got to give this dude. I got to give this dude a shout out. He's a really good dude. He's been a neighbor of the job I'm working across from, and we were watching the other guys work in the street that had been there like 3 weeks. And I walked over to him. I say he said something to me, so I walked over, introduced myself, and he goes, "I know who you are. I see you on socials." And I was like, "It's fucking badass, bro." It's really cool seeing the reach, seeing what's going on, seeing the people engaged. The people engaged, It's what fuels me every day, Rick. I got to tell you, the people that come up to me and they tell me, like, if you see me out there, come up to me. I love meeting you guys. I want to meet you. I want to talk to you. I want to hear your concerns. I want to hear what's on your mind. And dude, it really does. It absolutely fucking fuels me. So I got to tell you something. Rikipedia, my man, can't wait for you to get your fucking show going. I'm going to be here for you whenever you do it. You know what I'm saying? But you are always welcome on these Friday nights. You know that, bro. Rikipedia, the Caltrop, everybody have a great weekend. Do me a favor, enjoy this fucking weekend. Live right now. Live for today. And when it comes for tomorrow, man, you never know what's going to happen. So just fucking have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I'm going to see you Monday, 8 p.m., like we're usually Eastern Standard Time. Remember, finger the fuck out of my like button. Always, always finger the fuck out of my like button. Share the hell out of this. The best thing you can do, it is absolutely free, is to grow the Caltrop family. And it's real easy. You just, real seductive, like, touch the share button. And I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it. The share button's going to enjoy it. Me, Rikipedia, we are certainly going to enjoy it. This Caltrop loves you guys. This Caltrop is out. Later.